Joshua chapter 6 The fall of Jericho. Now the gate of Jericho were tightly shut because the people were afraid of the Israelites. No one was allowed to go out or in, but the Lord said to Joshua, I have given you Jericho, its king, and its strong warrior. You and your fighting men should march around the town once a day for 6 days. 7 priests will walk ahead of the ark, each carry a ram horn. On the seventh day you are to march around the town 7 times, with the priest blowing the horn. When you hear the priest give one long blast on the ram horn, have all the people shout as loud as they can. Then the wall of the town will collapse, and the people can charge straight into their town. So Joshua called together the priests and said, Take up the ark of the Lord confidently, and assign the 7 priests to walk in front of it. Every carried a ram horn. Then he gave orders to the people, March around the town. The armed men will lead the men in front of the ark of the Lord. After Joshua spoke to the people, the 7 priests with the ram horns, they started marching in the presence of the Lord, blowing the horn as they marched, and the ark of the Lord confidently followed behind them. Some of the armed men marched in front of the priest with the horn, and some behind the ark with the priest continuing to blow the horn. Do not shout, do not even talk, Joshua commanded. Not a single word from any of you until I tell you to shout, then shout. So the ark of the Lord was carried around the towns once that day, and then everyone returned to spend the night in the camp. Joshua got up early in the morning, and the priests again carried the ark of the Lord. The 7 priests with their ram's horn marching from the ark of the Lord, blowing their horn. Again the armed men marching both in front of the priest with their horn and behind the ark of the Lord. All this time the priests were blowing their horn. On the second day they again marched around the town once and returned to the camp. They followed this pattern for 6 days. On the seventh day the Israel got up at the dawn and marched around the town as they had done before, but this time they went around the town 7 times, the 7 times around, as the priest shouted the long blast on their horn. Joshua commanded the people, Shout, for the Lord has given you the town. Jericho and everything in it must be completely destroyed as an offering to the Lord. Only Rahab the prostitute and the others in her house will be spared, for he protects our spies. Do not take any of the things set apart for destruction, or you yourself will be completely destroyed, and you will bring trouble on the camp of Israel. Everything made from silver, gold, bronze, or iron is sacred to the Lord and must be brought into his treasury. When the people heard the sound of the ram horn, they shouted as loud as they could. Suddenly the wall of the Jericho collapsed, and the Israel charged straight into the town and captured it. They completely destroyed everything in it with their sword, men and women, young and old, cattle, sheep, goat, and donkey. Meanwhile, Joshua said to the spy, Keep your promise, go to the prostitute's house and bring her out along with all her family. The man who had been spied went in and brought out Reha and her father, mother, brother, and all other relatives who were with her. They moved her whole family to a safe place near the camp of Israel. Then the Israelites burned the town and everything in it. Only the things made from silver, gold, bronze, or iron were kept for the treasure for the Lord's house. So Joshua spared Rahab the prostitute and her relative who were with her in the house, because she had hid the spies Joshua sent to Jericho, and she lived among the Israel to this day. At the time Joshua invoked this curse, May the curse of the Lord fall on everyone who tried to rebuild the town of Jericho. At the cost of his firstborn son, he will lay its foundation. At the cost of his youngest son, he will set up his gate. So the Lord was with Joshua, and his reputation spread throughout the land. Chapter 7 I defeat the Israelites. But the Israel violated the instruction about the sin set up for the Lord. A man named Achan has stoned some of these dedicated sins, so the Lord was very angry with the Israelites. Achan was the son of the Carmi, a descendant of Zimri, son of Zerah of the tribe of Judah. Joshua sent some of his men from Jericho to spy out the town of Ai, east of Bethel, near Bethel Aven. When they returned, they told Joshua, "There's no need for all of us to go up there. It won't take more than 2,000 or 3,000 men to attack the Ai. Since there are so few of them, don't make all our people struggle to go up there." So approximately 3,000 warriors were sent, but they were soundly defeated. The men of Ai chased the Israel from the town gate as far as the quarries, and they killed about 36 who were retreating down to the slope. The Israelites were paralyzed with fear at the turn of events, and their courage melted away. Joshua and the elders of Israel tore their clothing in dismay, threw dust on their head, and bowed face down to the ground before the ark of the Lord until evening. Then Joshua cried out, "O sovereign Lord, why did you bring us across the Jordan River if you are going to let the Amorite kill us? If only we have been content to stay on the other side. Lord, what can I say now that Israel has fled from its enemy? For when the Canaanites and all other people living in the land hear about it, they will surround us and wipe our name off the face of the earth. And then what will happen to the honor of your great name?" But the Lord said to Joshua, "Get up. Why are you laying on your face like this? Israel has sinned and broken my covenant. They have stolen some of the things that I have commanded must be set apart for me. And they had not only stoned them, but they lied about it and hid the sins among their own belongings. This is why the Israel are running from the enemy in defeat. For now Israel itself has been set apart for destruction, and will not remain with you any longer unless you destroy the sins among you that were set apart for destruction. Get up, command the people to purify themselves in preparation for tomorrow. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, hiding, hidden among you, O Israel, are sins set apart for the Lord. You will never defeat your enemy until you remove these sins from among you. In the morning you must present yourself by tribes, and the Lord will point out the tribe to which the guilty man belongs. The tribe must come forward with its clan, and the Lord will point out the guilty clan. The clan will then come forward, and the Lord will point out the guilty family. Finally, each member of the guilty family must come forward one by one. The one who was stoned what was set up for destruction will himself be burned with fire, along with everything he has, for he has broken the covenant of the Lord and has done horrible things in Israel. Achan said. Early the next morning, Joshua brought the tribe of the Israel before the Lord, and the tribe of Judah was singled out. Then the clan of Judah came forward, and the clan of Zerah was singled out. Then the family of Zerah came forward, and the family of Zimri was singled out. Every member of Zimri family was brought forward, person by person, and Achan was singled out. Then Joshua said to Achan, "My son, give glory to the Lord, the God of the Israel, by telling the truth. Make your confession and tell me what you have done. Don't hide it from me." Achan replied, "It is true, I have sinned against the Lord, the God of Israel. Among the plunder I saw a beautiful robe from Babylon, 200 silver coins, and a bar of gold weighing more than a pound. I wanted them so much that I took them. They are hiding in the ground beneath my tent, with the silver buried deeper than the rest." So Joshua sent some men to make a search. They ran to the tent and found the stolen goods hidden there, just as Achan had said, with the silver buried beneath the rest. They took the things from the tent and brought them to Joshua and all the Israelites. Then they laid them on the ground in the presence of the Lord. Then Joshua and all the Israelites took Achan, the silver and the robe, the bar of gold, his son, daughters, cattle, donkey, sheep, goat, tent, and everything he had, and they brought them to the valley of Orchard. Then Joshua said to Achan, Why have you brought trouble on us? The Lord will now bring trouble on you. And all Israel stoned Achan and his family and burned their bodies. They piled a great heap of stone over Achan, which remained to this day. That is why the place has been called the Valley of Trouble ever since. So the Lord was no longer angry. Chapter 8. The Israelites defeat Ai. Then the Lord said to Joshua, Do not be afraid or discouraged. Take off all of your fighting men and attack the Ai, for I have given you the king of Ai, his people, his tongue, and his land. You will destroy them as you destroyed Jericho and his king. But the time you may keep the plunder and the livestock for yourself. Set an ambush behind the town. So Joshua and all the fighting men set out to attack the Ai. Joshua chose the 30,000 of his best warriors to send them out at night with this order: Hide in ambush close behind the town and be ready for action. When our main enemy army attacks, the men of Ai will come out to fight as they did before, and we will run away from them. We will let them chase us until we have drawn them away from the town, for they will say, The Israelites are running away from us as they did before. Then while we are running from them, you will jump up from your ambush and take possession of the town, for the Lord your God will give it to you. Set the town on fire as the Lord has commanded. You have your order. So they left and went to the place of ambush between the Bethel and the west side of Ai. But Joshua remained among the people in the camp that night. Early the next morning, Joshua roused his men and started toward Ai, accompanied by the elder of Israel. All the 5 men who were with Joshua marching in front of the town and camped on the lower side of Ai, with a valley between them and the town. The night Joshua sent about 5,000 men to line in ambush between the Bethel and Ai on the west side of the town. So they stationed the main army north of the town and ambushed west of the town. Joshua himself spent that night in the valley. When the king of Ai saw the Israelites across the valley, he and all his army hurried out early in the morning and attacked the Israelites at the place overlooking the Jordan Valley. But they didn't realize there was an ambush behind the town. Joshua and the Israelites fled towards the wilderness as though they were badly beaten. Then all the men in the town were called out to chase after them. In this way, they were lured away from the town. There was not a man left in Ai or Bethel who did not chase after Israel, and the town was left wide open. Then the Lord said to Joshua, Point the spear in your hand toward Ai, for I will hand the town over to you. Joshua did as he was commanded. As soon as Joshua gave his signal, all the men in ambush jumped up from the position and poured into the town. They quickly captured it and set it on fire. When the men of Ai looked behind them, smoke from the town was filling the sky. They had nowhere to go, for the Israelites who had fled in the direction of the wilderness now turned on their pursuer. When Joshua and all the other Israelites saw that the ambush had succeeded, and that smoke was rising from the town, they turned and attacked the men of Ai. Meanwhile, the Israelites who were inside the town came out and attacked the enemy from the rear. So the men of Ai was caught in the middle with Israel fighters on both sides. Israel attacked them, and not a single person survived or escaped. Only the king of Ai was taken alive and brought to Joshua. When the Israelites' army finished chasing and killed all the men of Ai in the open fields, they went back and finished off everyone inside. So the entire population of Ai, including men and women, was wiped out that day, 12,000 in all. But Joshua kept holding on his spear until everyone who had lived in Ai was completely destroyed. Only the livestock and the treasure of the town were not destroyed, for the Israelites keep this as a plunder for themselves, as the Lord has commanded Joshua. So Joshua burned the town of Ai, and it became a permanent mount of ruin, desolate to this very day. Joshua impaled the king of Ai on a sharpened pole and left him there until evening. At sunset, the Israelites took down the body as Joshua commanded and threw it in front of the town gate. They piled a great heap of stone over him that can still be seen today. The Lord's convenient renewed. Then Joshua built an altar to the Lord, the God of Israel, on the mountain Ebal. He followed the command that Moses, the Lord's servant, has written in the book of the instruction. Make me an altar from stone that uncut and have not been shaped with iron tool. Then on the altar they present the burnt offering and the peace offering to the Lord. And as Israel watched, Joshua copied onto the stone of the altar to the instruction Moses has given them. Then all the Israelites, foreigner and the native born alike, along with the elder, official, and the judge, were divided into two groups. One group stood in front of the Mount Gerizim, the other in the front of Mountain Ebal. Each group faced the others. Between them stood the Levites, the priests carried the ark of the Lord confident. This was all done according to the command that Moses and the servant of the Lord had prefers given for blessing the people of Israel. Joshua then read to them all the blessing and the curse Moses has written in the book of the instruction. Every word of every commandment that Moses has given, has ever given, was read to the entire assembly of Israel, including the men, and the women, and the children, and the foreigner who lived among them. Chapter 9. The Gibeonites deceived Israel. Now all the king west of the Jordan River heard about what had happened. There were the king of the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and the Jebusites who lived in the hill country in the west foothill and along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea, as far north as the Lebanon mountain. This king combined the army to fight as one against Joshua and the Israelites. But when the people of the Gibeon heard what Joshua has done to the Jericho and Ai, they restored to deceived to save themselves. They sent an ambassador to Joshua, loading their donkey with weathered sandalback and old patched wineskin. They put on worn out patched sandal and red clothes, and they bare them, took with them with dried moldy. When they arrived at the camp of the Israelites at Gilgal, they told Joshua that the men of the Israel who have come from the distant land to ask you to make peace treaty with us. The Israelites replied to these Hittites, how do we know you don't live nearby? For if you do, we cannot make a treaty with you. They replied, we are your servant. But who are you? Joshua commanded. Where do you come from? They answered, your servant have come from a very distant country. We have heard the might of the Lord your God and all he did in Egypt. We have also heard what he did to the two Amorite kings east of the Jordan River, King Sharon, Heaven, and King Bashan, who lived in them. So our elder and all our people instruct us, take a supply for a long journey, go meet with the people of Israel, and tell them, we are your servant, please make a treaty with us. This bread was hot from the oven when we left our home, but now, as you can see, it is dry and moldy. These wineskins were new when we filled it, but now they are old and split, and our clothing and sandals are worn out from our very long journey. So the Israelites examined their food, but they did not consult the Lord. Then Joshua made a peace treaty with them and granted their safety, and the leader of the community ratified the agreement with a binding oath. 3 days late, after making the treaty, they learned that these people actually lived nearby. The Israelites set out at once to investigate and reached their town in 3 days. The name of the town was Gibeon, Kevin, Baron, and Karen Jerry. But the Israelites did not attack the town, for the Israel leader had made a vow to them in the name of Lord, the God of Israel. The people of Israel grumbled against the leader because of the treaty. But the leader replied, since we have sworn an oath in presence of the Lord, the God of Israel, we cannot touch them. This is what we must do. We must let them live, for divine anger would come upon us if we broke our oath. Let them live. So they made themselves the woodcutter and the water carrier for the entire company as the Israel leader direct. Called together in Gibeon and said, why did you lie to us? Why did you say that you lived in a distant land when you lived right here among us? May you be cursed. From now on you will always be servant who cut wood and carry water for the house of my Lord, my God. They replied, we did it because your servant were clearly told that the Lord your God commanded his servant Moses to give your entire land and destroy all the people living in it. So we fear greatly for our living because of you. This is why we have done this. Now we are at your mercy to to us whatever you think is right. So Joshua did not allow the people of Israel to kill them, but that day he made the Gibson the wood cover and the water carrier for the community of Israel and for the altar of the Lord. Wherever the Lord would choose to build it, this is what they do to this day. Then chapter 10, we're going to another fighting under Joshua's lead. Okay, so those several chapters is talking about there's more fight and from Jericho and Ai, and also they follow the goddess lineage. So that's how they get succeed. But if they have sinned, then they got failed. It's always this happened, and this is what happened the goddess people. Alright, so that is today's Bible study. Hope everyone like it. God bless everyone and see you tomorrow.